With reassembly, it's just basically the opposite of disassembly. So the first thing that's going to go in is going to be your elevator. So you want to look at the position of the elevator in reference to the receiver and the barrel. This will go towards the front. You want this little C-shaped to go towards the top of the gun. So the goal here is you need to get these little pegs into the peg holes. All right, that doesn't always go that smoothly, but now it's seated and in a functional position. The next two pieces that go in are the bolt assembly and the slide. So it's better that you understand how they go in before you try to put them in. The first thing you're going to have is your bolt. You can see these two little, almost like forks or tridents that go towards the front. They will go in the direction of the barrel. Then you're going to look at the slide, and once they're inside, the slide will go on top of the bolt in that position, and it will lock into place. So make sure you understand that before you put them in, because once you have them inside the gun, it's almost impossible to maneuver them around. So the best way to get the bolt in is to go in through the front of the gun. Once the bolt is in, there are grooves on the bolt that line up with the elevator, and it will end up in this position. Next step is to put the foregrip back on and then go in through the receiving ports. Now you're going to see the foregrip will be facing at the bottom. These notches here will be also facing down. So put the foregrip on. Once you get them in the grip, you do have to see there's tracks on the inside. You need to push down. Once you do that, you can see they are now correctly mounted. So once you have the bolt in there, what you want to have it look like is they're going to be lined up with the sidebars. There's going to be a line. You can see it doesn't have to be 100% on, but you want it almost in this position. After you have it in this position, you can then put the slide on. Remember, the slide is going to go down in here. Should just drop right in. And you can see you heard that click. That is how the slide and the bolt are to be together. You will then slide everything together up towards the front of the receiver. The bolt assembly and the slide, if it's together correctly, it will slide right up towards the front and it will stop in that position. All right, the next part is the part a lot of people have fun with, and I still have issues with it. We're going to be reinstalling the cartridge interrupter pin and the cartridge stop. What you need to do is make sure the one with the nub on is going to go on the left side of the gun, or the opposite of the ejection side, and the other will go on the ejection side. But make sure you can see the curved part. That will go towards the front of the gun. This will go towards the barrel. And this part back here will go towards the handle. It will only go in one way. So let's try to work on those. I was taught to do this a certain way. You want to have gravity be your friend and help you. So you put the first part on the left side with the nub, hold that in there. Also have your trigger assembly close by because you're going to need that. Then take the other part, put that on the other side and face the receiver down. At the same time, you're going to be holding the first part in that has the nub on it. You're going to be holding that in place, and then get ready to put your trigger assembly in. So the way I like to do this, and I believe Mossberg tells you, have your hammer down, your trigger down, have your gun on safe. You're going to slowly put the front portion in at an angle and drop it right in. I do mine with the handle off. I put everything back in position. I will then put the new handle or gooseneck on after I have everything, the trigger assembly back in position. The next step is we're going to attach the gooseneck using a large bolt provided along with your Allen wrench. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is install the barrel. Put on the final piece. I'm going to install a aftermarket light that I purchased, and then I will put on the magazine takedown cap. Get everything lined up nice and straight. Thank you for tuning in to Rocket Ships 49 for this project, and look forward to more videos. Thank you.